Electrocast.
Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
On this episode, it's part 1 of our second annual NFL prediction show. The teams are back, and the predictions are as smart as the hosts are stupid. And this is Missing the Point, episode 82. But it's all relative.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Missing the Point, the podcast where 6 idiots talk to one another about sports for an hour into a microphone, then for the other 23 on a group chat. I am your host, DK Sizzle, and joining me today, I have literally every single member of Missing the Point is here with me today, and that's because we're doing our second annual NFL preview show. Bobby pointed out to us yesterday, it's the first time we've been able to say second annual anything because we recently had our 1-year anniversary. 1 year. Much like a romantic relationship, we've all seen each other's crazy side at this point, and we all feel comfortable enough to fart in front of one another. Well, Joe's been doing that the whole time, but some guys are just really open on the first date, you know. So with me, I have Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan, Real BK Bob Kelly, Mike Marcangelo, and Joe Malkin. Our wonderful executive producer Craig is hosting, spinning the discs, swapping out tapes, whatever he does in that room of his. And we're going to do the NFL preview show. It's going to be fucking fun. So last season, we split off into 2 teams. We split it off by conference, AFC, NFC. Mike and Bobby, the perennial old married couple, took the NFC team. Ray and Joe took AFC, tallying up the points over the course of the season. I actually totally forgot. So like the way we set it up last year, which I thought went pretty well, is it was like every time you get an answer right, or you guess the records of each team. That's what we're about to do. 2 games. And when you're within 2 games, you get a credit for that called correct. It's like I thought of this fucking game. I can't remember the rules. You get credit for the correct call on that record. So you just have to come within 2. We also had an additional playoffs game that we played
game shows
again this year, if all of us are still alive by that point. A couple game shows that like added bonus points, couple quiz shows, a bunch of different stuff. So a lot of tension, a lot of drama, a lot of pageantry. I mean, season 1 of Missing the Point, having now seen it all the way to its conclusion, was honestly a tale as old as time, but completely original at the same time. So we're going to do our second annual NFL preview show.
Beautiful.
Rayshawn and Joe as the losers, I'm sorry to say, of last year's show. You guys get ball. So we're going to start you guys off with, and don't forget, I hope you didn't do a bunch of AFC predictions because this year you're the NFC team. And because we're trying to keep it casual and keep it cozy, I'll let you pick which division you start with. And then I'll make the other team do that same compass direction of their conference. So take it away, Joe and Ray.
Well, Ray, do you want to start with the division that we only have one playoff team from that also involves Bobby's favorite team, or do we want to start in the NFC West?
Yeah, I mean, that's how we had it written out. So we'll start with the NFC least.
All right, we're starting with the NFC least, and we're going to go from worst to best to make Bobby sweat a little bit here, so he can figure out where we have his Cowboys. So Ray, I'll start with the first team. We're gonna say at the bottom of the NFC East is the Philadelphia Eagles, led by new head coach Nick Sirianni, with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback, assumingly, of the Eagles this year after the experiment that was Carson Wentz went awry, and he was traded to Indianapolis, and they had gotten rid of Nick Foles earlier, which funny that they actually almost ended up on the same team again. But staying on point, Philadelphia Eagles finishing at the bottom of the NFC East at 5-12.
Yep. So the next team we have on there are the New York Football Giants going at 7-10. Danny Dimes, Danny Jones, whatever you want to call him, couldn't, stay upright literally all year, not because of injuries, because, he would run and just trip over himself. And, anything that could go wrong for the Giants did go wrong. So we had them going 7-10. They have some pieces there. Obviously, they brought over Kenny Galladay. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is going to come back and have a bounce back year, but, they'll still be middle of the row, type of team. So we got them going at 7-10. So, Joe, who do we have next?
Yeah, just to add to the Giants, I'm a big fan of Joe Judge. I like him as a head coach. I think he's one of the guys out of the Belichick coaching tree that actually could be successful. I just don't think he has the support within the Giants organization to do so. So in second place in the NFC East, sweating Bobby Kelly. I can see the smile behind the microphone. He's waiting for it. He's like, wow, they don't even have him in third or fourth. In second in the NFC East, we have the Washington football team at 8-9. They got Ryan Fitzpatrick as their quarterback. We could see Heineke under center at some point. Ron Rivera is assumingly healthy as the head coach. Chase Young is a problem, and he was a problem against the Patriots in their first preseason game this year. It was actually fun to watch him run wild. Isaiah Wynn for the New England Patriots had a really tough time with him on the left side of that line. So I think Chase Young is going to be more important than any quarterback that Washington puts under center. I think they're going to be a defense-led team, and they're going to be pretty good, but I think 8-9 is the extent of where Washington goes this year.
Yeah, and to add to that, just for our first part of the show, you can, I guess you could say Isaiah Wynn did not win the day against Chase Young. Chase Young is phenomenal though. He's by far I think he's the best player in the division, let alone, doesn't matter what position. I think he's the best player in the division. He's going to show that again. He had a great rookie year. So Washington's defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. To me, Heineke proved to me that he shouldn't get a job, or because he has Fitzmagic for a few weeks, we get that. But Heineke, what he did against the Bucs in the playoffs, to me, earned him a spot. We should have been playing, but hey, it is what it is. He may still get a chance to start, 6 or 7 games. But yeah, Washington should be good. And so, I'll close it out with who we have as our winner. So, we got the Dallas Cowboys winning the NFC East, as Bobby is tugging on his shirt for the listeners at home, even though you cannot see that. But yeah, man, by default, you guys have the best quarterback in the division. Obviously, Dak was injured for most of last year. So I know he's dealing with a shoulder injury right now, going through the preseason. But yeah, got him going 10-7. Keanu Neal has looked good in the preseason. Michael Parsons has looked every bit of and then some. So listen, defensively is where they're going to have to make their mark. We know that as Dallas, as we watched Dallas, they were giving up 45 and scoring 41 all the time last year. So really, it seems like the last few years they were doing that. So yeah, but as long as they stay healthy, Joe and I agree that they're going to win the division. Like I said, we'll get to the playoff stuff later on, but we have them going 10-7 right now.
Mike McCarthy cleared out a lot of that staff in Dallas. I think last year was a weird year. He's one of those teams like the Patriots where I give a little bit of benefit of the doubt, especially with Dak Prescott getting hurt. As long as Ben DiNucci isn't taking snaps for the Dallas Cowboys, they have a chance to go 10-7. Ray and I originally had them at 9-8, and I was going to use the joke, Bobby, the only reason they're going to go 9-8 is because they're 17 games, or be above 500 is because they're 17 games, not 16. But I think 10-7 is a fair place for them, especially with their weak division. I think Washington they split with. I think they sweep the Eagles, and I think they will probably sweep the Giants as well. So, that's, 5 wins right there. So I think that's a great start for Dallas.
Wow. That was you guys really mercilessly mowed through the NFC East. Just really cut them down to size. It is probably the worst division in football still, right? I can't think of a worse one, but maybe no, it's pretty bad. So that was right. A lot of that was fair assessments. Dallas Cowboys winning the world's tallest midget competition, getting bounced out of the playoffs in the first round. That's a decent return for you, Bobby. If you guys win 10 games, obviously means it's 4.6% less to win 10 games than it did last season. But I think that's fair enough. Bobby, would you take a Dallas Cowboys 10-7 record and division winners and a fun playoff run if, under the circumstances that Joe described, Dak Prescott takes most of the snaps for next season?
Without a doubt. Listen, I'm just starving for a playoff game at this point. I know you were with me last year, DK. You guys sneaking into the playoffs, that was a beautiful thing for you, and you loved every second of it. And I would 100% get behind it. Well, fair. It was a good game. The only thing that scares me with Dallas this year is, listen, Mike brought it up a while ago, is that Dak Prescott shoulder. I know it's not a big deal. I keep saying it's not a big deal, but like, man, if something actually happens to him, there is nothing behind him.
I mean, this is going to sound weird. His ankle injury is more important than his shoulder injury.
Yeah, but it's just not a good look that you come off of an ankle injury and then the first week of training camp you have a shoulder injury. Not great.
But we'll see. I love it because I do think our defense is going to be so much improved over last year.
I mean, they couldn't stop a nosebleed last year, Bobby.
Well, Dan Quinn coming in is such a big difference, man. He's going to be such a big difference. And Micah Parsons, right, you couldn't have said it better, man. In the preseason, this dude looked the part. He was everywhere. He's the starting linebacker day one from Dallas, and he's going to make that defense much better from day one. Just him being on the field. So as sad as I was when we missed out on those two corners, I'm not disappointed right now because Micah Parsons looks the fucking part, man. He's something else.
Is it his throwing shoulder? Dak's throwing shoulder?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's got a baseball strained shoulder. It recovers with rest. So it's just one of those where like only thing that's gonna solve it is rest, but at the same time, like it could get worse. So it's like one of those things that, I don't know.
Bobby, it's tendonitis. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, it's not.
That's
fun.
Never good.
Never good.
It's not good. It's not good.
If that's the case, I was gonna say fucking Dr. Quinn, medicine woman over here. Only kids who watch TV in the late 90s in the daytime would get that reference. But I don't know if I necessarily agree with the old adage that like, you know, an injury on top of the end of a recovery of another injury is like the worst thing in the world, because anyone who's ever been hurt knows that you start to rely on other parts of your body a little bit more and you like end up straining other shit. So if he was trying to throw in a way that he wasn't like, if he was a little hesitant on the ankle, or if he like wasn't, you know, if he wasn't
think about that
planting in the same way, and like, you know, it could just be like a little strain, little soreness. You never know. And you never know is a great thing to say about the Dallas Cowboys, because you really never know. Like everything Bobby's saying is true. It could be true.
Kind of like, not to cut you off, but you kind of always know about the Dallas Cowboys. It's 8-8, but now I guess it's 10-7.
Yeah, but maybe, or Dak Prescott comes. This is a very Cowboys season too. Dak Prescott comes back, is like the best quarterback in the NFL for like 7 games, and then like injures his other ankle. It wouldn't even be the same ankle.
Hey, why would you even put that into the atmosphere, bro? Like that's just not.
There is no. And let me tell you something right now. There is no juju that I can put into the world that could affect the cosmic fuckery that the Dallas Cowboys like constantly interact with. Juju couldn't change their juju. Okay, facts.
No, honestly, it could be like, you know, and this is a different sport, but remember when Pedro Martinez was in New York after he left Boston, he fell and slipped in the shower. It was over. Like that to me, that's more Dallas Cowboys than, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's more Dallas Cowboys than anything else. Like that's more on brand. So like, oh, he fell in the shower, like he like broke his wrist or whatever, or he sprained his wrist, like he's out for 3 to 6 weeks. Like that's something that could happen, honestly.
I've enjoyed the last 4 months as the positive Celtics fan. I really have. And the fact that now we're back to this shithole where I have to sit in a hole for the next year and a half fucking sucks. All right. So excited for it. And I can't wait. Let's go.
This is what we said before, right? This is why your predictions in the playoffs were so good. When your mind is not clouded by Cowboys fuckery, you do
much better
than when the Cowboys are a part of it. I mean, honestly, I think we can all say on Sunday afternoons, hopefully the Patriots are better, so people don't have to listen to me, Ray, and Mike go off.
Can't wait to get to that, because they're not going to be.
but for Bobby, every Sunday it was just like we knew right away, and we all just ran to console Bobby, and we just couldn't do it because he just went off the rails. So, Bobby, I think you're going to be fine. I think you'd be all right.
I'm glad you're here personally. Like, you don't have to be slower than the bear. You just got to be slower than the slowest guy running from the bear.
You just got to be slower than the fucking cowboy.
I think it's fine to have dedicated that section of our conversation to the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys only. Does anyone have on the other team have anything salient to say about those other 3 shit piles of teams? No. Okay, great. I do agree with you guys that the Eagles will be arguably the worst team in football next year. Like there's a lot of dysfunction going on over there. Front office, offense, defense, like they're really shaping up to win 0-1 games.
5 wins is very
you were being
generous.
kind of conservative maybe with that, but then as you know, just to remind the viewers at home and the listeners at home, the name of the game is to get it within 2, so no point in guessing 0, you know. All right, let's move on. Let's go over to the AFC team, and since they did the East, now you guys got to do the East, so you can start in whatever order you want, go from top to bottom, best to worst, worst to least, dedicate as much time to it as you want, go nuts.
So obviously, like we've definitely talked this out and worked this out to make sure that we're succinct.
Yeah.
You want to start like worst to best, Bobby?
Well,
don't. All right, don't start yet. Don't start with me yet.
Well,
can we just agree that the worst team in the AFC East is going to be the New York Jets?
yeah. So we did ours a little different, where like we didn't come to a consensus. What do you got, Mike? I got 3-14 for the New York Jets.
I got 6-11. So why don't we just call it 5-12?
5-12, perfect.
It's gonna be so upsetting if like you guys win again, because it's like Joe and Ray came in and they were like, okay, so here's our analysis. Here's gonna be this record. Here's gonna be this record, and then you two guys come in with your fucking pants undone, being like, I don't know. What do you think, the Jets are gonna suck?
I've just learned from years and even season 1 of Missing the Point that if you have a plan and Bobby is on my team, he will try to sink your ship. So cheers, you may as well just go. Yeah, cheers, dude. But I just want to point out before we move on to the next team, 5-12 for the Jets. That's a good thing, right? It's a rebuild, and it's not a rebuild in a year. It's a rebuild in 3 or 4 years. If that happens, they could be a really good team, you know, moving forward. You know, like I said, in 3 or 4 years. Now, Bobby, here we go. The next team, the third worst team in the AFC East, I have is the Miami Dolphins. I assume that you're going to just kick me right in the dick and say it's New England Patriots.
Yeah, no, not even close. Not even close.
Okay.
Listen, so I have the New England Patriots finishing 8-9. Yeah, no, I don't see how Cam Newton or Mac Jones is going to get this team above 500.
Really?
I just don't like unless Matt. So the way I could see it, you can convince me if you think Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback, because Cam Newton is not winning more than 8 games this season. It's not happening.
It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, Bobby. Belichick won 7 games with that shit can of a team last year. And then he added to the offense. And now Hightower's back. Now they got Matt Judon. Gilly's going to come back. So they're going to have we'll call it a top 12 defense and probably a top 20 offense. Last year they were terrible. So what I'm telling you, so you had them at what? You said 8-9?
I have 8-9, and then I have the Dolphins 10-7.
I have the Patriots at 11-6. So we should split that and just can we just call it 10-7? Because then you'll still win and I'll still win.
So are we putting both of them at 10-7 then?
I mean, if you really just want to fuck up my bracket, I guess we can do that. But yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but no, this isn't your bracket. This is our bracket. All right.
Sure.
Listen, we got called the old married couple for a reason. We got to figure this shit out. All right.
In fairness to me and the listeners, I said if you want to fuck up my bracket that I'm looking at, then yeah, we can do.
I do want to fuck up your bracket.
Right, 10-7.
10-7 for Dolphins and Patriots.
I'll give if you said 10-7 for the Dolphins, I'll give you 11-6, just so that we have
to put them above.
Yeah.
Okay, deal.
Okay,
deal.
You know, it's it's funny because we call you guys an old married couple, but we could play that tape as like a real example of what compromise looks like, because you did really well right there. Anyway,
that wasn't bad, right? That was
good.
Right.
That was better than last year. You guys.
I thought that was going to go really off the rails.
You guys have really grown, and I'm very.
I just don't have it anymore.
Oh, Mike's just tired.
I have the Buffalo Bills at 13-4 in the AFC East. I have it as a pretty much a runaway. I think I think Josh Allen and that offense is just too good, and I really think I don't think last year was a fluke. So 13-4 for the Bills. So just to recap, we have 13-4 for the Bills, 11-6 for the Dolphins, 10-7 for the Patriots, and what do we call it? 5-12 for the Jets. Feels right.
Could we -1 from the Jets so we get it if they get 2 wins?
No, they're gonna win. They won 2 games last year, dude. Zach Wilson's better.
All right. And they have the new coach. All right, fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, it seems like you guys came to a consensus there about the AFC least. I don't think anyone's coming. I mean, it is always kind of surprising to me. Like I was, you go back in to do your research for these shows after not having any football to watch, and you go, oh yeah, the Buffalo Bills are a good team now, which is like a very strange reality that you've like sort of entered into. And obviously they have the best backup quarterback in all of football in Mitch Trubisky. I bet he ends up getting the starting job and becomes like the best QB in football, just knowing the Chicago Bears and their luck. Who'd you say was winning the division? The Bills, obviously.
Bills at 13-4.
And then you said,
so we have the Bills at 13-4, the Dolphins at 11-6, the Patriots at 10-7, and then the Jets at 6-11.
No, 5.
No.
You had them at 5-12.
Oh, 5-12.
Yeah,
5-12. Yeah.
I like the culture Miami's building over there. I think that coach is good. I mean, we could say, I think, Joe, you said that like halfway through last season, right? Where you were like, whenever they fucking, was he there all last season? But I remember you name checking him for being like a good coach. And I think he is actually building a decent culture over there. Maybe if Tua becomes like what every Dolphins fan thinks he is and every not Dolphins fan thinks he isn't, but like, who knows? What do you guys think about their predictions? Ray, was it fair what they just did to your New England Patriots?
Yeah, I mean, I think 10-7 is more feasible than 8-9. But then again, I expect Bobby to take that type of shot because he was upset with us last year and even probably a few minutes ago we gave your team the division. We gave your team the division and you sit on us. So you know what? Fuck it. We're taking it back, Joe. Yep. They're going 5-12. Fuck it. No, but
4-13, put them below
4-13, right? Exactly, right. No, but I mean, listen, Miami and Buffalo are considerably better right now than the Patriots, and that's just you can't drink the Kool-Aid this early. Now, once we get into the season and some things unfold, and that may be different, but right now on paper, as currently constructed, it should be Buffalo, then Miami, then us, then the Jets. I do think that we can be interchangeable with Miami, mainly just depending. I think that the defense for New England is going to be a lot better, mainly because the offense is going to be better, right? So the defense wasn't awful last year, but we just couldn't get off the fucking field. So when you bring back Judon and you have Hightower, and to me, whether Gilly is back or not, I know they need him, but I still have faith in that secondary to still be elite when they need to be. And like I said, whether it's Cam or Mac, I think that, we're going to be fine. I've been pleased with Mac Jones this preseason. I know Mike, still wants that guy in Chicago, and I understand that, but Mac Jones has shown me enough that he could lead. The offense is being ran through him when he's out there. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. So, yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure Joe has the same sentiment. I'm sure he'll elocute some different points than I did.
Yeah. What sucks about the New York Jets is I like Robert Saleh a lot as the head coach there. I don't know how he's going to be as a head coach. I think he's an outstanding defensive mind, and I think that's kind of what they're trying to do in New York now. Adam Gase was a joke. I mean, that guy doesn't belong in the NFL, not to mention as an NFL head coach. Sam Darnold is gone. They drafted Zach Wilson. I think just with a first-year coach, first-year quarterback, Mike said it, and he's right. I mean, it's a 2 to 3, maybe 4-year process, and I hope the Jets organization understands that. And unless Zach Wilson or Robert Saleh do something to completely screw that up in New York, they got to give those guys time and give them the resources to get it done, because right now they're competing with a very good team in the Buffalo Bills, an up-and-coming team in the Miami Dolphins, and Bill Belichick. So they have a long road ahead of them. So if Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson can outlast those three things, they'll be all right.
But before you go, DK, I just want to say, Bobby, what factored into my decision-making process was last year, the Patriots had the third toughest schedule according to wins losses, and this year they have the fourth easiest.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go next, is that, Bobby, I'm saying this from a football standpoint. I hope you're wrong, because I think the Patriots have what it takes to be better, and I do think Cam Newton has what it takes to be a 10-11 win quarterback with a 17-game season. And I say that because I think, given the time, Mike, I know, I understand, but I don't want him to be the starting quarterback. But after what I saw in week 2 of the preseason from Cam Newton, when he stepped up in the pocket and didn't run and stopped at the line of scrimmage and threw a bullet over the middle, that was really, to me, that was the one play I needed to see to be like, okay, I think he's understanding what his role is now. And last year it was, I don't know what to do. My ass is on fire. I have to run. So, but also, Bobby, to your point about Cam Newton, Cam Newton is better than Tua Tagovailoa. Just going to throw it out. He's better than Tua. And Buffalo is a wagon. Mike, I think you guys' win total is low. I think they're 14-3, 15-2. I think they're that
Jesus.
Good. I think they're that good. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see you, Chuck. Like I said, me and Craig tried to tell everyone on here last year. Me and Craig said Buffalo is the team, and Josh Allen wasn't going to be the guy once Brady left. Josh Allen is a problem. Yeah, he's a beast. Yeah, I don't know why, but and also shout out to him and shout out to his agent. Most importantly, 6 years, $258 million, 150 guaranteed, I believe. Like that is awesome. And like I said, Buffalo loves him. He loves Buffalo. So yeah, it definitely did a vision to lose.
I just see a little bit of a fallback from Buffalo. Not a lot. Nothing that they're going to miss the playoffs or anything.
13-4 is a fallback,
but like. I see not from the team, I guess, because they were 13-3 last year. So I just think Josh Allen isn't going to be as prolific as he was last year, just because teams have a little bit more of a beat on him this year. But the rest of that team is still really, really good. So
just one note on strength of schedule: every game, if you take away the 2 Buffalo games from the Patriots schedule and the Tampa Bay game. So say you just chalk those up as losses right now. I mean, Tampa Bay could go either way, but like, let's just, for the sake of this argument, say that those 3 are losses. Every other game on your schedule is winnable. Every single other game on your schedule is winnable. The next hardest one you have is probably Tennessee, maybe Cleveland.
Miami, it's tough.
Just to quote a host,
very winnable.
The host of this show, like you play who you play, right? Like you
right.
can't
No,
talk about
I'm not criticizing you. What I'm saying is what my question would be is, how does Bill Belichick, the ultimate pragmatist, look? And this question is for anyone who wants to answer it. Look at this strength of schedule where, for instance, you start October against Tampa Bay, right? You start your October, which is like really the meat of the season at this point. You know, you've played 3 games. Your 4th game is against Tampa Bay. It's a night game. Is it a Sunday or Monday? It's Sunday night.
Yeah,
so you're going against Tampa Bay. I don't think Bill Belichick gives a shit about statement games on TV or statement games at night. I think that he looks at this season in 4-game blocks. I think he goes, it'd be great to start with a win against Miami, but we definitely need to go and beat New York and New Orleans. It'd be great to get a win against Tampa Bay, but then all we have to do is go beat Houston, Dallas, and the Jets. If he looks at these in 4-game blocks as he goes, you can win 3 out of every 4 games until, I mean, there's just no patch where until you play Buffalo twice. Until you play Buffalo twice in 3 weeks, you can take the majority of those 4-game blocks. And I think that's how Bill Belichick looks at an NFL season. So what do you guys think? Like, when you look at it like that, could the Patriots potentially have a better record than they on paper deserve?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I had to settle with Bobby on this. I just want to say, like, on one of the last shows, like I couldn't find more than 6 losses, which is why I had them at 11-6. Right? I think that there's a real possibility that we enter that game against Brady at 3-0. Right now, we're either going to lose that game by 35 or we're going to win it by 2. Right? That's how that's going to go. My money is on lose by 35. But this schedule, regardless of who's quarterback, now not Brian Hoyer or Jared Stidham, but if it's those 2 top options, it's tough for me to see 7 losses. But because of the point structure in this game, I can acquiesce to 10-7.
The stretch that worries me for them is Browns, Falcons, Titans, Bills, Colts, Bills.
They're going to split one with the Bills, and
that's a tough stretch though. They could easily lose 4 out of 5 games as somewhere on that stretch. I mean, you know, they could lose to the Browns. They could lose to the Titans. They could lose to the Bills. They could lose to the Colts. They could lose to the Bills.
Yeah, I'll answer this. I think DK made a great point about looking at it in 4-game increments. I think that's actually how it used to be, right?
You think he wants to split that stretch?
No, not split it, but I'm saying, like, I think DK made a great point. Like, when Brady was here and they was, killing everybody, I think he did look at it that way. It was like, okay, in these 4 games, if we can go 3-1 here, maybe 2-2 here, or even 4-0 here, right, to end out the season, that's doable. But listen, I just want to make a point about week 4, and then we can move on to the next division. Week 4 against Tampa Bay. If you don't think Belichick is not going to coach his ass off, I don't know what time you're on. Like, that might be like, I mean, I think about the old Denver games at times that we used to have, the Colts games. Like, a motivated Bill is a different guy, even at this stage of his career. So there's no way it's going to be a blowout on either end. Like, I'm looking at, that's going to be like a 31-28 type of game. Either way, there's no way that's going to be a blowout on either side, in my opinion.
See, here's a problem with that game too. As someone who will be there and will undoubtedly see New England Patriots fans wearing pewter number 12 jerseys. It's going to be a very interesting crowd that night. Not for this Patriots fan, personally. I'm going to cheer for Tom Brady when he's introduced, because without Tom Brady, there's not 6 Super Bowls. And I'm not starting the argument of it was Belichick over Brady or Brady over Belichick. But Ray's right. Belichick is going to and will coach his ass off that night, and will pull out all the stops. I think we're going to see an amoeba defense from the defensive side of the ball. We're going to see a lot of movement. We're going to see things happen. To Dave's point, I agree. I mean, there's been a couple of predictions that I've been looking at that has them losing at the Jets in week 2.
I saw that too.
These people are smoking something stronger than Bobby and Dave have ever smoked. They beat the Dolphins in week 1 at home. They beat the Jets in week 2 on the road. They beat the Saints in week 3 at home. They're 3-0 going into the Bucs game. The Bucs are probably 3-0 going into that. That's a week 4 Super Bowl. There's no way the Patriots lose to the Texans. I think the Cowboys is a toss-up if everybody's healthy. They beat the Jets. The Chargers is a toss-up. They kill the Panthers. The Browns is a toss-up. Falcons toss-up. Falcons, they win. Titans toss-up. They lose at the Bills on the road on December 6th, because I think, again, I think the Bills are a wagon. They beat the Colts. They beat the Bills at home. They kill the Jaguars, and they might lose to the Dolphins on the road. I mean, realistically, that's 12-5, 11-6, and I think that's feasible as long as they do exactly what Mike said in his prediction. As long as Belichick coaches the way he's supposed to, his quarterback plays up to his ability. And to Ray's point before, I think they need Gilmore back, because J.C. Jackson isn't a number 1.
Yeah.
Before we move on from this, because I know that we could spend an entire show on this. Aside from the 2004 season, Belichick, when he wins Super Bowls, looks at the first 4 games as just an extension of the preseason.
Yeah.
So if he goes 2-2, that's fine. Now, the caveat is he always had Tom Brady there, right? But I could see a world where 3-1 in the first 4 games puts them on a fucking rocket ship that gets them to, 13-4 or 12-5. But again, I as the Patriots hater convert that he is, Bobby wanted to lowball them, so I understand it.
Cam Newton, man. That's what it keeps coming down to me, is like, it's either a rookie quarterback or Cam Newton, and nothing that I've seen from Cam Newton over the last 4 years, not even just last year, over the last 4 years, tells me that he can win 10 games. If he shows me differently, fine. But the other thing they have to rely on is a rookie quarterback if it's not him.
I would argue with that, Bobby, is 2018. 2018 was a good season for him. And 2019 was kind of a wash because he got injured, and 2020 was a shitty season.
We've done enough on the Patriots.
Yeah, we have.
I will just say,
Bobby's not wrong, though.
I will just say, I think that strength of schedule wise, I'm glad I asked the question. However, this is now the second season we've done an NFL prediction show where I watched you guys talk yourself into something that definitely isn't going to happen. I am actually with Bobby. Cam Newton fucking sucks. He has sucked.
He's not good.
God damn it, Dave. Just host the show.
The thing is that I am hosting the show. This isn't me hosting the show. Me putting my balls on your head. So listen, here's the facts. Okay,
I'll be the last time.
That was the most turgid fucking offense I have seen in my young life. It was so fucking hard to watch. It was so hard to watch, and I understand.
Nothing's the same.
I understand you guys putting that completely out of your head, that trauma completely out of your head. Now, Mike said something earlier, which I vehemently disagree with across the entire board of watching the NFL. He said, who the quarterback is doesn't matter. I've never heard a less true thing said about the NFL. The only thing that matters in your offense, and things after that can matter, but the first thing that matters is who the quarterback is.
We're doing this thing like where I can't retort because you did call me out.
Yeah,
directly.
well, you can, but what I'd love to do is get to the natural end of my sentence, and then you can go.
You did pause. Sorry. Just real quick. Just real quick. Belichick with that ragtag offense won 7 games last year, and he retooled that entire offense.
Well, that will be the first time in modern history that turns out to be true.
Yeah, wait for it.
The quarterback has mattered every single other season for the last. I don't know. When's the last time the quarterback didn't matter? Joe Flacco? He had a great year that year.
Before Tom Brady was in the league.
Like, it's you and me against the world in this one. I'm not with you on the Cam train, but it's you and me against the world because I love it. You know, Dave's sitting, he's like, that offense was awful. It's going to be the same. I remember Kendrick Bourne sucking in a Patriots uniform last year.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys went and spent some money. I agree with that. I just I don't know if there's like a ton of game changers on that offense that can make up for the fact that I think honestly, I think your best bet from the bottom of my heart is if that rookie you guys drafted, Jones, is if he goes in and turns out to be good, because you're not winning that many games with Cam Newton. Is my opinion. You can hold me to that. Put me on record. Is somebody recording? Put me on record. Anyway, moving on. We've done enough damage to the poor listeners' ears with all this Patriots talk. Although I would say the majority of people listening to this show probably are here for that. Let's move on. I can't remember where we were. All right, let's move back over to the NFC team. You guys can tell me any division that's left, and feel free to pick whichever one you want to go with, and whatever order you want to do it in. Go nuts.
All right, we're gonna go with the NFC South. We're gonna start at the top. I think this one is pretty obvious. This is one where I came around in the offseason. Dave said it best, and I will echo his words of Tom Brady is a lot of fun when he's not in the Patriots system. So Tampa Bay, we have them at 12-5 and winning the NFC South. I don't think they're a Buffalo Bills wagon, but I think they're a good team. Tom Brady is entering his age 44 season. He is still
right in his prime, baby.
He's still, which is amazing. That's probably true. This guy's ridiculous. He really is. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The moment I knew that they were going to win the Super Bowl which I really didn't want them to, but I kind of had it in the back of my head, was when there were 6 seconds left in the second half of the NFC Championship game, and he dropped an absolute dime in the hands of Scotty Miller in the end zone. And Scotty Miller may never have a better catch in his career. He may also never have an easier catch for a touchdown in his career. I mean, this team is just, and they haven't changed anything. All they've done is added, and they're spending money. This is the NBA's version of a super team. This is the Brooklyn Nets. This is the Miami Heat. This is the Los Angeles. This is what that team is, and that's why I think 12-5 might even be generous, or not generous enough.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it warms my heart to hear you speak this beautifully of this team. Like I said, once again, me and Mike was on the bandwagon with Tampa because we thought Brady would still dominate, and he did, right? I think, like I said, 12-5 is actually appropriate, only because there's gonna be a few games where they're just like, look, like we can mail it in towards the end of the year. I feel like, or they may run into a team like Chicago early on that's just smacking them around the field, and Brady forgets what down it was. That was crazy. But Chicago's defense is that real. So there you go, Dave. I gave your defense some credit there. But yeah. Trust me, you're gonna be happy about that one. But yeah. So I mean, listen, Brady's that guy. They're one of the few Super Bowl repeating champions that have all 22 starters coming back. So the continuity's there, which I know that's key for Brady at any point of his career, but especially now. Yeah. So, and hopefully, Antonio Brown does more knockouts on the field than he's done in training camp, and they should be good. So moving on to the next team. This was a little high, so we may have a little discussion about this one, but we had Joe had New Orleans going 10-7. I don't think they're going to be this good. In the words of this guy named Rob Parker, no way, no how. Like, they may win 8 games, maybe, in my opinion. Now, if Jameis looks how Jameis looked like on Monday night, then they might have a chance. But I just don't see them winning 10 games, in that division. I don't see that happening. But what was your rationale, Joe, with that one?
Well, whoever's keeping score, let's bump that down to 9-8, because the more I think about a 30-30 quarterback in Jameis Winston. I mean, honestly, I understand why Jameis Winston was let go in Tampa and why they moved on from him. It's worked out very well for them. Jameis Winston is not a terrible NFL quarterback. I mean, there's much worse than Jameis Winston. I think he's serviceable. I think you're going to see Sean Payton use a combination of him and Taysom Hill because they're both athletic. Jameis Winston can move if he needs to, and they can put him in. Obviously, they don't want to put him in a spot to get injured. But Taysom Hill, on the other hand, that guy is a crazy son of a bitch. So we'll move them to 9-8. I think that's fair. I think a 7-10 finish is possible for New Orleans, but we'll talk about playoffs later. But 9-8, because the bottom of this division is not good. After New Orleans finishing third, we have the Atlanta Falcons at 7-10. I even think that might be a little bit high. Matt Ryan is still a serviceable NFL quarterback, and he now has Kyle Pitts. So, I mean, that's a start. It's something. Of course, he has no Julio Jones anymore as he moved on to Tennessee. But, I think Atlanta can scrap together some games. I don't think they're awful. I don't think they're great either. I think they did their organization a disservice by not naming Raheem Morris the head coach, the full-time head coach. I thought that was a really big disservice. I think those guys really enjoyed playing for him, and they ended up. Who did they end up signing as their head coach?
Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Who came from Tennessee?
Yeah, who came from Tennessee? Which fine, offensive guy. So understand what they're trying to do there. I think 7-10 might be a little high, but I'm going to stick with it because I think 5 and what's 5? What's 17 minus 5? 12. 5 and 12 is possible. Thanks, Mike. I didn't need the sarcastic response and close to the mic. I appreciate But yeah, 7 and 10 for the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that definitely could be one of our more gracious picks. I mean, listen, they're still going to be good offensively, right? I mean, you still have Ridley. Pitts is Julio Jones just as a tight end. Like, he's 6'6", 240. Like, it's ridiculous. And I'm biased because I'm a Gator fan, so Kyle Pitts is a man. I was praying to that. I'm like, please, like, Bill, trade up again. I'm like, I know we were clamoring for a quarterback, but I'm like, please go get this guy. But he's going to be in Atlanta, not that far from where he was at in Gainesville. So, yeah, offensively, they're going to be fine. But we'll see. Like I said, that might be one of our more generous picks as the year goes on. And last but not least, we got Carolina going 4-13. Like, Sam Darnold going down there. Now, yes, it's a win for him alone that he's out of New York, right? And away from Adam Gase, right? Matt Rule, was okay last year and down there in Carolina. I know obviously Teddy wasn't his guy, so we got rid of him. So I guess he wanted Sam Darnold down there. I'm a fan of Robbie Anderson. Obviously, anytime you add a top 3 running back, maybe even a top 10 player and Christian McCaffrey back in the fold, that helps the offense. Obviously, it can't hurt it. But, unless Derek Brown and I think that they drafted J.C. Horn, right? They drafted J.C. Horn in the top 10. So unless those guys become a mini Legion of Boom right away in that Panthers back, secondary, like they're not going to be much of anything right away. But who knows? This is part of their 5-year plan down there as well because they're a small market. So I think 4-13 is appropriate. Sam Darnold, if he doesn't see ghosts, maybe gets him up to 5. Who knows? But either way, this team's going to blow.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's kind of the weak link down there for me, and I think they're doing the entire organization, their fans, and Christian McCaffrey a disservice by not building around him right now. I mean, he's still a young guy, but he got banged up last year. He was out most of the season. I mean, that's tough for a running back. Running backs have a tough time coming back from injuries like that. So they're doing him a disservice by not building around him and going out and getting Sam Darnold. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback than Sam. I do. Maybe I hope Sam Darnold proves me wrong because he was supposed to be a big thing coming out of college, and we all know that Adam Gase ruined him up in New York. So hopefully Matt Rule, who to me is Dan Campbell without the steroids, can do something with this team. But it is a 5-year plan, Ray, and it's just but they're not even going to get 5 wins this year. So
I will say I feel pretty fair. I don't know about the other guys. I feel like those are pretty fair records for those teams. I think you have Atlanta a little higher than I would, and I think you have the Bucs a little bit better than I would. But yeah, I mean, like considering who the Bucs play twice a year, which is the rest of that division, I could see them accruing a good amount of wins from that.
Yeah, that could be 6.
None of them are great. I will say the only thing about Christian McCaffrey, though, is he got that high ankle sprain. Not a ton you can do about that. That's just like you fucking sprained your ankle. And then when he hurt his shoulder, I think they just kind of put him on ice. It was like, there's no point in risking him because our season's already a wash.
Right.
And I do think he's going to, because he got that contract extension. Then it was high ankle sprain. Then it was, fuck it, he hurt his shoulder. We shouldn't even have him in there. We suck anyway, like whatever. I think he's got something to prove this season. So I actually think the Panthers might do a little bit better. But let's go over to the other team and see what they have to say about it. I saw Mike vigorously shaking his head at points, and especially at the mathing the point thing that we were doing with Joe, just really, really aggressive at that part. But hey, here we are talking about
12. Fucking idiot.
Thanks for the defense, Bobby.
Tampa Bay in that division, like it's 6 wins, right? So I mean, I think that their floor is probably like 13-4. But I will say, my other thing is Carolina. I don't think Sam Darnold makes it through the year, and I think 4-13 is pretty low for the win total because I think PJ Walker is a really, really good backup quarterback and could set the league on fire if he gets the chance to be the starter. I had them more at 6-11, but I guess, plus or minus two wins, you guys are still in that area. But yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay is a wagon. They have every single starter returning from last year. That hasn't happened in a very long time. And they are the defending Super Bowl champions. So a little more respect to them. Jameis 9-8 makes sense. That's his mantra. He should be a Cowboy, right? 30 touchdowns, 30 picks. He could just never string along a winning season. I get it, but I think Taysom Hill is an X factor.
Yeah, the one I disagree with him with, Mike, is Carolina, for the opposite reason, though. Surprise.
Sure.
Surprise. I actually think, listen, when you look at Sam Darnold, I see the first, how long has he been in the league? 2-3 years now? I see them all as a wash, man. I know it's hard to eliminate the ghosts that were put in him from that New England game back Monday night, way back in the day. You guys remember that. But I think that Rule is the guy to do it. And I think we're going to see a different Sam Darnold this year. I really do. I mean, I don't see Carolina only putting up 5 wins when they put up 6-7 wins with Teddy Bridgewater. And I think Darnold is a more talented quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater if he has the system and the pieces around him to do it. I mean, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Christian McCaffrey are 10 times the weapon that this dude ever had in New York. So I just think Carolina is a little better than you gave him credit for. I would give him 7 wins. But that's really the only one I disagree with. I like New Orleans this year. I think Jameis is going to I think Jameis.
I think Jameis is going to be good. Famous last words.
I know, right? I know, right?
I hope you're saying that on draft night. But
he's definitely better than Cam, though. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. But Jameis Winston is the biggest trick or treat player I've seen in the history of the NFL. He's so bad. I would want to.
If you put Jameis on the Pats, you guys would love Jameis on the Pats. If you guys
have him in Dallas, we'll take Dak.
If you guys are behind Cam as your quarterback, I promise you would like Jameis as your quarterback. I promise you.
It's pretty unbecoming of you to keep taking digs at the Patriots when we still finished.
I'm not taking digs at the Patriots. I'm taking. Listen to the time. I'm taking digs at Cam Newton. I don't hate the Patriots.
Who's he play for?
He could play for anyone. I just think he's a shitty quarterback.
Bobby, you can have Jameis if you want him. We'll take Dak on a league minimum salary. And he can be the backup to Cam Newton.
I don't want Dak. Yeah.
All right, we're not talking about the Patriots anymore. We've already dedicated enough time to that. Although I will say, I think if Jameis Winston tried to come anywhere near Gillette Stadium, Bill Belichick would shoot at him with a fucking ball from the fucking top of the stands. I don't think that guy wants him anywhere near his team because I think he knows about football and has seen him play. Also, I'm pretty sure I agree with you, Mike, on one hand about Sam Darnold. I think that he's not that good, and I don't think he's going to last the season. But I'm pretty sure Will Grier is going to be the guy, not PJ Walker. Will Grier, I'm pretty sure, dude. He looked pretty impressive this preseason. Big arm, West Virginia. Yeah, I don't know.
The Carolina Panthers football show.
The XFL days. That's why he loves him for those XFL days.
Well, I mean, I think Matt Rule also coached him, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's another thing. They have a connection there. But I'm with Dave. Once again, Will Grier went to Florida, so I'm biased. But he got to West Virginia, had a great career over there, West Virginia. I want Will Grier to get a chance. I think he could play. But you guys are right. It probably will be PJ Walker, but Will Grier deserves a chance. If not there, there's somewhere else.
Yeah, he's got a big arm, man. He's a little bit shaky sometimes in the pocket, like decision making wise. But I think he's got a big arm, and like when he throws and when he's confident, he can find his man downfield. All right. I think that was a pretty fair assessment of finally, it feels like for the first time, a neutral division. I think that after this conversation, I'm thinking the Panthers are actually going to be okay this year. I don't even think they're going to be that bad. I think they have some options at quarterback, like we've talked about. I think that, whoever it is, like has the potential to have a good season. They locked up their number one receiver. They have Christian McCaffrey, who's like the craziest pass catching running back of all time. I don't know. It could happen.
Are you a fan of classic cinema or a young person who wants to discover the best films of all time? Do these legendary movies still hold up?
On the Generation Film podcast, 2 guys who grew up when movies dominated the culture share a great film with a panel of young movie lovers and see how it plays for today's generation.
We discuss changes in storytelling styles, representation,
the making of each film, its initial reception, and how its meaning has changed over the years.
Join us as we explore cinema classics across generations. on Generation Film.
Electricast. Miles, are you ready to record our promo for Season 2 of the Wanna Bet podcast?
David, have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Miles, we're not here to quote lines from Airplane. We're here to tell people that Season 2 starts August 18th.
But I like Airplane.
I know you do, but Wanna Bet is a sports betting podcast. Each week we bet $1,000 on the NFL teams and games that we love.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. And last year you picked over 60% of your games correctly.
How'd you do?
We're not talking about that. We are telling people that they can find us every Friday. So no more movie quotes.
Roger.
Electricast. Electricast.